Hey everybody, welcome back to Absolutely. I'm Dylan, that is Susan, and we are back to talk about Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 14. So is this the penultimate episode? I don't know how many
penultimate episode, yes sir.
Okay. So yeah, what I just said, it's a penultimate episode. This was great.
Fantastic.
The last two episodes have kind of been not as good. And I think what this episode made me realize is any time that they don't put the focus on Allie and it's just the core cast dealing with the effects that she's created, then the episode is good.
It's not just good, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Every scene, there's like iconic moments in this that I think will be like clipped and get like 10 million views on YouTube. When Jordan like looks back at Lana and Sarah, he goes, "Get out of here," and his eyes are red, and then he starts, and then his fight with Lana, and he gets the freaking hammer and swings it back. I was like, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ever.
All the action in this episode was great.
It was really well done. It was paced super well too.
Yeah. I'm also so glad that in that moment when like there wasn't, like, I feel like, not to bash on your favorite show Smallville, but I feel like if that confrontation had happened in Smallville, then Superboy would have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna get beat up a little bit so that I don't reveal my secret." Jordan was just like, "No, okay, I don't have a choice now. I have to protect these two people." And there still was like a moment where when Lana came in the room, he looked at her and was like, "I didn't tell her anything. Like, don't worry."
Oh my gosh! And the way, and it's the actress, she's killing it. Lana's being a beezy to him, where she's like, "Did you tell my daughter?" Like, you can see in her face,
damn
she's
right.
like, "No." And then she's like, "Sarah, we need to go." Like, it's like, feels like it's like towards Jordan of like, "Stay away from him. Like, I don't like you, child." And it's like, oh, stop breaking his heart. And then I was glad he didn't get to beat the hell out of a different Lana. Like, because I bet that was like mildly therapeutic, right?
Cathartic.
Like, just a pinch of it. Just a little bit, right? Like, you feel like you'd have to be. That was what I was thinking the whole time, that like, get those hits in, brother. You got this. That was fantastic. And just like the way that this Superboy uses his powers, it's awesome. It's not Superman. There is vulnerability. You don't know if he's going to like be really hurt throughout these fights, but he's doing it. And he was fighting, when he's fighting the both of them, and he looks like he's gonna like just lose, like that's gonna be the end of the fight, and then now he's gonna come in, but he's like, no, headbutts Jonathan, punches him down, keeps fighting.
He's doing his best.
It's awesome. He's doing fantastic, and like his powers got such an upgrade. I never expected them to give him flight, and he's doing flight, and he's awesome at flying. The flight scenes in this are really cool. Just every part of it. I'm like obsessed with this show now. I think it's really fantastically done. It's been getting better and better and better. And Tyler Hoechlin acting like a weakened Superman. I loved it.
Dude, Tyler Hoechlin in this whole episode is like he's so sad, but it's like so well done. Like, he's so broken up, and like seeing Superman like limp is so sad to see. And it's not,
he feels like our Superman. He feels so Superman that like, I feel like if we saw Tyler Hoechlin in the real world, which we go to cons, we very well might, it's gonna be weird to not see him like as a god. Like, part of me probably thinks he's Superman in my head. And it's funny,
like,
his writing. I was gonna say Jordan's like a little whiny character, and you're like, where does he get that from? Is that Superman? And it's like, when Superman's sad, he's like exactly like Jordan. Like, he's exactly the same as his son.
That's fair. Yeah, it's really well acted by like everyone in this scene. Like even the circumstances of it, like last week when Allie drains Superman's powers, it's like, all right, well, she's just able to do that. Okay, cool. But then that's what I think is so good about the show, is when they take what the character, like what the villain is doing, and actually deal with the consequences of it. It's like the idea of her merging the worlds, and suddenly there's like the Minecraft sun in the sky. It's like, who cares? But like the way that everyone deals with it is fun, just because the acting is so great in this show. I do want to bring up the town hall scene with Mayor Lana. I think that was that was a little bit of a sore spot this episode.
I think it stood for too long. That I think they needed to have the guy start talking immediately. Cheating husband, he protests it, and then Superman walks in. I think it like lingered way too long on that. Because I like that scene where Lois is like, "You're still Superman. Go give them hope."
Yeah.
Go do what you do. That's what
Yeah.
that symbol on the chest means. It's not an S. It means hope. To call back to Man of Steel for a second.
The problem I had with it was just like I feel like they're really just taking all of Lana's power away from her, which is so disappointing because like she won the election, but it still seems like everyone in the town hates her.
Yeah.
And like I know like the other like the old disgruntled mayor is there to like kind of incite that in everyone, but I don't know.
He is so many people I know in Alabama. He is like
totally.
every other person I know, and it makes me furious to see him on screen.
And that's like it was disappointing to me. It's like okay, so the only way that Lana can get control of these people is if Superman shows up. Like that's not the message you really want to send.
Well, and in fairness too, I will say we could get suspension of disbelief. It does sound insane though. Like imagine someone was saying the stuff that she was saying, but like in our
Superman
world
exists.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know.
Obviously, I agree. I'm with you. But it was a catalyst for some really great scenes, so I'm okay with it. Everything that is not that I don't love builds towards something that I do love. So you know, we'll take whatever hits we need to take for this show because the show ends up surprising us left and right with some of the greatest action. I mean, like really emotional story beats. I feel like Bitsy Tulloch as Lois Lane has had like a rough season because she's been given a lot of like damaging material. She had to start the season off by being emotionally angry, depressed mother, and then like slowly but surely get better. And then she has to be like arguing with her reporter partner all the time. And then it's the Lucy stuff. But she's still a masterclass actor. Like she's still putting on a great performance when she gets material that works well with her. Can you imagine this show with a great villain? Because it's not had one. The entire run of it hasn't had a good villain. So when you give it their Tom Cavanaugh reverse Flash, like season 1 Tom Cavanaugh reverse Flash. Guys, let me be clear. Okay, season 1 Tom Cavanaugh reverse Flash. We still love Tom Cavanaugh regardless. He actually directed a couple of these episodes of Superman and Lois, but not later in the show. He's a goofball now. Yeah, like I think if you give them a great villain, you have the greatest hero that's ever existed. That's going to be an awesome confrontation. And the extended cast is so great too. There's so many supers on this team, but they're not Superman. None of them are, but like Steel can pick up the slack. Mini Steel, I like that immediately. We're not doing this thing where you fought in that fight, but you're not going to come with me now. Like they're in the planning phase of it. They're like, no, Natalie, like you're part of this, whatever. I do need you here to fight. You will be fighting. I just can't let you come in this world thing with me. I love that because it's always the thing on the CW where they're like, you have powers, but you can't use it. Okay. That's dangerous. You're invulnerable to everything. What if you fight our budget's your power. Low. We only have enough CGI from Dune for one more figure. They just borrowed frames from Dune.
Which, by the way, what the hell? He's in Steel is in the actual suit in this. Like he's not just a CG guy. Why was he just a CG guy the other day? Like in that episode with Allie where they're in the volcano or whatever. What happened?
I have no idea. But dude, even the suit up scene, it is CW. It's not Iron Man from the Avengers.
Like you can't very bad.
But I liked it. I thought it looked so on.
His head was floating.
It was floating a little bit, but they don't have enough time to work on this. They don't have the time.
I think here's my issue with any CG stuff with that. Yeah. You didn't need to have him suit up and us to see that.
That's fair. It's fair. I agree.
You could have done it a different way.
You should work with what you have. You shouldn't do it that way. John Cryer, Lex Luthor, and Supergirl also had a mech suit, and it looked like a cartoon was being animated on top of him. It looked so bad. So I'm cool with the improvement, and I love John Henry's character so much. He's like one of my favorites on the show. The actor's so charismatic.
Yeah,
he's so ridiculously charismatic. He's incredible for the role, and like Natalie's great too. The scene where he's like, you have a family here, you have Lois and the boys, and they teed up a little bit. They like gave her some time where she's just like messing around with the boys, hunting some XK in a cave. Like it's fun. They're having their own little adventure, which they still completely left the plot point of Jonathan putting on that suit.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
I don't know why they teed that up to not do it, but maybe there was a reason for it.
Maybe
some Last
Jedi shit. It's just like,
it really is.
Put this in. It's like one writer who was just like, I want this to happen. Everyone else is like, no.
My only gripe, it's not a real gripe, but I'd like to point out that in the scene of the big fight happening, whenever they'd pan to Jonathan, it was so clear that he was filmed separately and that like he doesn't, like he's like looking at the fight happening, but he's just like,
it's just over
my
there.
brother's gonna die now. my dad's gonna die too. Like, I don't know if they told him what the fight was before
they really
filmed the other half of it.
They really do need to give him powers in some regard, whether it be a suit or actual powers manifesting, because every time he's on screen while one of these confrontations is happening, I expect him to like jump in and help. And
yeah, I thought this is going to be the moment. I thought this is going to be the moment where he's like, you know what? I'm done with this. And then he just punches evil Jonathan through a wall. That'd be sick. They definitely could not afford two of the same guy fighting each other on screen. That would look... They could not do that correctly.
It would have had to go full CG. The director would have been like, I don't know how to do this. This is too complicated. It would have to be pan to face Jonathan, face double behind, throws punch, CGI figure flying away. That would have to be how they do it. Really what you do is like, you know, he's not, what's his name? Jordan Elsis is not like a crazy looking white guy. Like you can get like a million stunt guys that look like him. I'm sure you could shoot that in an easy way, but they don't want to do that. But also that's not the show, so yeah.
And I think the show is taking its time, right? Like we figured we would eventually get Jonathan Kent. I'm glad that there's still something left to watch. Like I'm excited for when he inevitably gets powers because you know now he has an evil version of himself. Like it's definitely going to be interesting to see when like how is he going to react to that. You know, I thought maybe the merge would happen, at least like a little bit of it, and they would merge together. And that's how his powers would be activated. Like maybe they stay after the fact. But, you know, it's good to have vulnerability. It's good to have people that don't have powers because that's the issue with The Flash, right? The Flash used to have a cast of characters that was one superhero and three supporting cast members in the seat. Then it was one superhero, one not metahuman with frost powers but had frost powers, one evil speedster that's unrelated, and then one guy with vibrational frequency powers, which completely... What a cool setup to do nothing with, by the way, besides the point. So we don't necessarily want everyone to have powers, and if we do have everyone have powers, the villains all need to be on Superman's level. Their powers always need to be a step below. And I think that works really, really well. Superman matches them blow for blow. They all have to team up. But the team-up fight was so cool. Just, like, throws the hammer, and he just spins around. The
spin-around hammer was sick. That was the moment where I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. I like this.
Yeah. And then he's just, like, holding the hammer afterwards. Like, all right.
The only thing that I wish was in that scene, and this is the thing that the CW did for, like, a month or two, was they were just like, okay, we're going to put pop songs over all of our fight scenes and edit them to that. And it was such a good time. And, like, Miss Marvel did that this week, too. Yeah. And I was like, yes, more of it. And it was just like,
song would you have put?
I don't know. We're the kids in America.
Why was I thinking of the same? Okay, here's why I was thinking the same thing. That would have been sick. Last night, I played the 2000 Digimon the Movie soundtrack.
Yeah!
Which I shit you not, the third track is We're the Kids in America. And you're like, oh man, it's weird that was in it. The album art for that song is Digimon. Oh my god, you're a Digimon guy. Yes! Dude, I have Digivices downstairs on my, in my TV console. I have Power Rangers Morphers and Digivices on the other end. So,
look, on the phone I made, there's a little, you can't see because it's blurry, I don't have autofocus, but that's a little drawing of Terriermon.
You're a Terriermon guy. I love it. But yeah, no, that's why I was literally, I listened to that. Oh my God. You're like a huge Digimon guy. I didn't know this. This is awesome. We have more to talk about after we're done this episode. We're going to chat about that because I'm a big Digimon guy. But yeah, I listened to that last night. So the fact that you were saying it, I was actually thinking of that or this wasn't what I wanted, but in my brain I have that like the funk so brother, check it out now.
Oh hell yeah! I was listening to that on the radio the other day.
I listened to that last night when I was cleaning my house. That's fantastic. But yeah, I think you should make an edit of that and post it on YouTube somewhere. Just like make a Scrap channel and toss it up there so we could watch it. That'd be hilarious. Overall, I mean, I don't think there's much more to say about this because it's just done so well that there aren't a lot of gripes. There's my gripes are nitpicks. They're aggressive nitpicks because it didn't take me out at any point. Allie sucks.
Especially with this episode. Like, that's that. I think, Allie is the sore point of this entire season. And it's weird because they did it in the first season too, where they had like an interesting villain and then they pivoted from that about like 5 episodes in. And at least like Morgan Edge and his whole thing, he had like more going to him.
Yeah.
And like had more of a relation to Superman. Like that was I really praised that character just because it was a cool idea of like, let's let's make a villain that's a villain for both Superman and Lois. And then they started to do the same thing where it's like we have Bizarro for Superman and we have Ali Alston for Lois. And then Bizarro just fucked off. And then Ali got powers and was like, okay, well, they just gave up, it seems.
Honestly, like, they're really digging at the bottom of the barrel for these characters. So I wonder what their like rules are and what they're allowed to use out of Superman's mythos or not, because it felt weird that we're picking Bizarro when like this show hasn't done Lex yet. And now I think that Supergirl is over. I like John Cryer, but you could reintroduce Lex later. I think give it 2 more seasons and give us Lex.
I see Brainiac, man. Like a
yeah.
Brainiac would be great. And I think he would fit into the show. Like, we're already doing like alternate universe nonsense. Like, you know, you can do, I wouldn't put it past this show to do that. The thing about Superman is he doesn't have a lot of villains that don't have a very specific point to them. Like, you can't do Doomsday without killing Superman. Like, Lex Luthor is kind of the go-to, but then with Supergirl stuff,
you know, in the same vein, you can't do Brainiac until you're doing like Brainiac bottling up worlds. And then we've had 2 seasons of like Kryptonians coming, or no, I mean like last season was so about
like invasion stuff.
We haven't had General Zod, like the original General Zod. I think that's going to be
like the same. Like it's just terraforming instead of bottling it. Yeah. And they already kind of covered a lot of the Zod stuff with the Morgan Edge, Talro stuff.
They did. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see it. But there's a villain somewhere. And you know, if not, you have a great creative team. Unlike The Flash, I think you guys could sit down and write a really good villain. You really could. You could figure it out. And not everything has to be adapted from comic books. I know how badly we want it to be. Some comic book ideas are great. Some are, have you guys been reading Miles Morales as Thor? Did you see
heard a lot about that.
Oh, man.
I saw a couple panels and was
Odin's
like, oh no.
Fade. And then he holds Mjolnir with graffiti all over. He goes, Asgard's my hood. So, you know, there's some things in comics that aren't great. Yeah, there's some things in comics that aren't great. There's some that are. But I would love it if they created an original character. Or you know what? Honestly, you know, it'd be a fun fight. Instead of like camp Tom Cavanaugh we've been getting, Reverse Flash versus Superman sounds like a cool villain matchup. Yeah. Like we could use the other rogues gallery of villains. Because there's lots of matchups for Superman, honestly. Lots of villains are given power setups that are so much better than the heroes. So
I think there's a lot you could do. I think that's, and this is coming from a guy who hasn't read a ton of Superman comics, but there really aren't like a lot of Superman villains, especially ones that after like 6 seasons of Supergirl haven't been touched on already in this universe.
The Toy Man.
The Toy, sure.
The Toy, which that was in Supergirl, obviously, but
yeah. And I was also thinking of Cyborg Superman, but like we did Bizarro, so
we just I'm good. Didn't they do that? Am I losing it? I thought they did.
Cyborg Superman.
What's his name?
They did. Who'd they do? They did. What's his name?
Maybe they did it on. They did it on Supergirl. They did do it.
Yeah.
Though. They gave him a kryptonite heart and everything. They gave him like the Cyborg Superman name, John something, whatever. Same backstory.
What the hell is
that?
I
don't remember what it was.
Who's that other guy? There's like one more robot in Superman mythos.
Yeah,
that Supergirl fought.
And he's
no.
Oh, Red Tornado.
No, not Red Tornado.
The Eradicator.
I keep thinking Metallo. Thank you, Chad. Metallo. That's another guy that they could do that was like not done well in Supergirl.
Have you watched Doom Patrol?
I watched the first season of Doom Patrol.
So you know what? Fuck it. I want the villain of Superman and Lois to be Flex Mentallo. I want him to fucking flex. That'd be so funny. I would love to see that happen.
I'm down for that. I do think this. I think next season they should take a more grounded approach with whatever villain they do and whatever story they do. I would be fine if for most of the season they didn't have a villain and they were just kind of dealing with stuff. Like, this show is at its best when it's just like interpersonal relationships. This show is at its best, weirdly, when it is kind of a CW show.
Right? Because the actors are good and they give so many actors in the CW. It breaks my heart because they've been given such dog shit material. Like, people are saying they don't want... there's a lot of talk of Grant Gustin replacing Ezra Miller, and then the contrast says, he doesn't know how to act. I'm like, yeah, he does. He's given dog. Give him a good script. We'd love to see. Grant deserves a role more than anybody else. So like, let him mess with it. And if you want to recast, you have the multiverse now, and your movies suck anyways. So like, you know, do something with it. That's my take on Grant Gustin replacing it. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited. I don't know if there's much more to talk about. We're just excited for the show, and we have like ideas to make it better, but not like we're smarter than them, but like one villain that's not Allie is great. I think Parasite is who they're trying to make her from the comics, which is stupid because Parasite touches people and takes their powers, and he's like a shape-shifting, gruesome creature. He was in Young Justice. He was great in that. So, I don't know. Really, really weird take. But
yeah, we'll see. Next week is the finale. So, stay tuned to the channel for our thoughts on that and where the show's going in the future. But other than that, this has been Absolutely. I'm Dylan, that's Hassan. We'll catch y'all next time for the finale of Superman and Lois, Season 2.
Peace out.